Hello, gardening friends. It's about noon on Tuesday, April 18th, 2023, and today I'm going to talk about cycads. I did presentations on all of my other palms, and I saved the cycad to last because even though it's called a Sago Palm, it's not really related to palms. It's more closely related to ginkgos and pine trees. First off, let me show you my reference books, or book I should say, and a bunch of notes. Anyone wanting to read up on cycads, first you have to find them. There we go. This is Hortus Third, a concise dictionary of plants cultivated in the United States and Canada. It is a definitive reference, although dated. I think this was published in 1976. So it's not going to have any information about encore azaleas and knockout roses. In any event, Cycadaceae, cycad or Cycas family. They are gymnosperms, evergreen, dioecious, palm-like plants of slow growth, native to the Old World from Madagascar to Japan. Trunk is mostly unbranched, at least when young. And it goes on, it says some other things there. Now let me refer to my notes. Bear with me for a minute here. Cycad itself comes from the Greek koikos. They believe it was a transcription error that turned koikos into kukas, K-U-K-A-S. And koikos is plural for koiks, which is an Egyptian palm in Greek. So needless to say, the Greeks considered it a palm. The oldest foliage known to date is from the late Carboniferous, early Permian times, and it was found in South Korea and China. Depending on how you look up your data, you might find that they were popular in the Pennsylvanian super period, although why you would consider them Pennsylvanian when they lived 325 million years ago is beyond me. I sooner go late Carboniferous, early Permian. But we have Henry Shaler Williams in 1891 to blame for calling this era the Pennsylvanian era. I think they were kind of full of themselves at that point in time. The Jurassic period is also called the Age of Cycads. The other information that I'm going to be telling you about came from the Wisconsin Horticulture Extension Service. It is Googleable, and basically Sago palms are Cycas Revoluta. It's also called King Sago. They came originally from Japan. They claim to be hardy to 15 degrees F, or zone 8, most closely related to the ginkgo. They are dioecious, meaning they have, unlike humans, they only have two sexes, a male and a female. Makes it a little bit easier for them to reproduce. And they are a gymnosperm, meaning their seeds are naked. For those of you that are Weak-hearted, you may look away now. This is the naked seed of a cycad. I thought I would just take you through the cycads I've got here. I have 10 of them all together. That ends the history lesson. These cycads are about 6 years old, and this looks to be a male that's fixing to send up a cone. This is a southern exposure here. This one is obviously not sending up any reproductive features. At this point, the fronds are very soft and malleable, as opposed to these older ones that almost feel like thorns if they poke you. That was my first two. Now these two are they're on the north side of my fence, and I cut them back. And because they're on the north side of the fence, they have not yet sprouted because they haven't gotten warm enough or enough sunlight. They will eventually. They're just going to be delayed. Here's the other one. Cycads are extremely easy to grow in my Zone 8B garden. I can safely say that I have never lost a cycad. Now, I have killed a few purposely because, unlike the Wisconsin Extension Agent Service says, mine reproduce quite often, and I'm always pulling up little plants. Okay, here's another male. If you go back through my videos, you'll see how big this cone was last year, and it'll be big again this year. Cycads don't normally grow this way. You have to work at them to clean them up. They have very spiky thorns near the top, and if you cut back the old branches, eventually you can scrape them off with, I use a trowel, and it gives you this trunk-like feature. It is unusual for cycads to split and have a Y shape like this. These probably were the first that I planted, so they're probably about 30 years old. So that's 6 so far. Now we have to go to the front yard. My soil here is very sandy and dries out quite quickly, and cycads seem to like that type of soil. I don't ever worry about watering them other than when I first planted them. Now they kind of just make do with whatever water they get from nature. These are the 2 females from which I got the seeds. They did not set out any leaves last year, but they have this year. And they're probably not going to fruit because of that. They take like a year off. So the 2 males in the backyard aren't going to have any females available, at least in my yard. It's not certain exactly how they get pollinated. Either bugs, beetles, perhaps bees. I don't think anyone really knows. That's at least what I've been able to find out. Here you can see the other female that had fruit, and it is now sending up a spray of new growth. This is a southern exposure of my front yard. Here you can see where the seeds hang down from last year, and you can pick them. I just cleaned up some of the cycads around the root of this yesterday. You can see here they sprout quite easily. In fact, so easily that this cycad is actually a seedling. This cycad itself is probably about 7 or 8 years old, and it was one of the seedlings that I let grow. I transplanted it once because I didn't have it in the right spot originally. And then my last cycad is here. And again, it's got a flush of new growth, so no cone or no female structure. So there you have it, a tour of my cycads. Again, they're very easy to grow in a Zone 8B garden. You do have to fertilize them. I fertilize them like palms, which is about 4 times a year. And I use a fertilizer that's formulated for palms. And they seem to do okay with that. Haven't had any problems. So there you have it. My little discussion on cycads. Have a good day.